I have his team pulled up.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Gabriel, how do you feel about your draft?
Well, I feel like this year is more of a risk than reward for me, the way I drafted, so I'm pretty nervous. But we should be excited for week 1 and see how it goes, starting 2 weeks.
So Gabe, given that we feel you were the loser of the draft by giving up your 4th round pick for a 6th and 8th round, how does that make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel as a manager of the game, I should think twice before I make trades. So.
Well, follow up to that actually. So then, moving forward, how are you going to handle trades during the season?
In season, I'm going to have to, make sure it's a fair deal, and just that way it's just fair. I don't think I'm going to try to swindle anybody because there's no point because I got swindled. So
I feel as though that's what you tried doing in this latest trade you tried doing.
Well,
not tried. You successfully tried swindling somebody for their trades. How do you feel about that and those accusations moving forward?
Well, moving forward, I apologize if you feel that way, but do mind you did draft a top 3 pick.
A therapist would say that when you apologize and you say if you feel that way, that's not really an apology.
Well then, you know what? I'm sorry.
Gary, Gabe Kroll Harold. What made you draft the quarterback and the running back from the same team?
Well, because knowing the fact that, the offensive coordinator for the Eagles, they like to throw a lot, and they do have a running back that catches a lot, and he was an ex-Giant, which I did like him a lot, so just saying, but I feel like he's going to be good, so that's fine.
Quick question.
Yeah.
So, you drafted a lot of rookies.
Okay.
Can you just give me an explanation as to your reasoning why you chose rookies with no experience in the NFL over veteran players?
Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, and Doomsday.
Well,
Starting in your lineup.
they're going to be starters was one factor, and the second, obviously, I didn't think Neighbors was going to fall for me. I was like, I wanted to see him, but he fell to me. I was like, let me just take a chance on him. So.
Sir, we have a question.
Yeah.
Knowing Daniel Jones and the lackluster offense for the Giants, why did you think that Neighbors would be a good pick?
Because I just feel like besides, Wan'Dale Robinson, I just think he's going to be a magnet for targets. I just think he's gonna want the ball and he's gonna go for the ball. He kind of reminds me of Odell, but I think he's just more fierce and he's not gonna be a damsel or a prima donna like we saw two years ago. So.
But just to reiterate the question, the issue is not Malik Neighbors' potential skill set. It's Daniel Jones.
Well,
so how is he going to overcome that? Why do you think
as a fan, I understand. As a fan, and this is where the fantasy actually, I have to take a step back and not root for my team, but you just have to be optimistic and think maybe he might turn around because he's making a lot of money, and there's scrutiny with him. Obviously, you can see through the news and all that. So just like he needs to show up. So if he doesn't show up, then guess what? You know what next year they're gonna do? They're gonna cut him and they're gonna draft a quarterback. First round pick.
I do think you turned it properly when you said it's fantasy. So.
Yeah, fantasy.
It is a fantasy, Daniel Jones. So
Oh yeah, I know. I'm just looking. Any other questions?
So, with your 3 rookie wide receivers,
Okay.
are you trying to tell the league that the younger players coming into the league are going to be better fantasy-wise than the more veteran players?
As like I said at the beginning, it was risk and reward. So obviously, I'm going to bet on them to do really good compared to the veterans, but we just have to see. Just have to see if it works out. Because if it doesn't, then I need to make some trades. I need to, retool the team. Hopefully, middle of the season, see how it goes.
You mean make trades and try to not swindle anybody else?
Correct.
And I know that you already elaborated on Neighbors and Daniel Jones, but do you not feel like maybe we already saw this happen last year when Aaron Rodgers went down with an injury and Garrett Wilson's fantasy production was not where it needed to be?
Correct.
Does that not worry you this year with Daniel Jones?
I don't think so because, again, their schedule is not that bad as far as who they're facing this year, which is the AFC South. It's not really bad.
4 games in the season are against the Cowboys and the Eagles.
Well,
two of the best teams in the NFC.
I feel like
He
the
has the
Cowboys.
Eagles on his team. He has two Eagles on
I
his
have
team.
Eagles doing, so it should be a good game. I'm just saying. Like,
Jared again. Relating back to my last question about multiple players on the same team,
Yes.
you also have James Conner and Marvin Harrison, both from Arizona.
correct.
What made you? What was the
Just
thought process?
depth. James Conner was probably a depth decision. Just
Depth
because-
is in your starting lineup.
Right, but he could come out.
And you said probably, meaning that you're not.
Excuse me, could.
Could, meaning you're still unsure regarding your starting lineups?
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
So we talk about depth, right? The reason why we drafted James Conner was for depth.
Well-
but when we look at your other running backs, we have
Okay, let's
Blake
never-
Corum, Tony Pollard, Zach Moss, Javonte Williams. So where exactly does Conner add to the depth?
As far as starting, because he's a starter.
Starting depth.
Starting running back. Excuse me.
But you just said you were unsure regarding the starting positions and the depth of your team.
Right, because you could start Javonte Williams possibly. You could start Pollard possibly.
And then at that point, would you be try to swindling somebody?
Oh my God, they had Chases available. Do I take them?
100%. At 11?
Yes.
100%.
I have Chase and Jefferson and take. Oh my gosh, these guys are.
What league is that? I'm
I've never
Is it a
seen-
4-man league?
This is a 12-man league.
You gonna get Malik Neighbors?
No. This is not.
is
Look,
hilarious.
dude.
This is hilarious.
Josh Allen was taken the first round.
Oh my. I'll take a couple questions.
Kelsey was taken the first round. Hurts
Mr.
was taken the first round.
Mr. Hernandez-Raw,
Yeah.
I think it's super unprofessional and just wildly, completely disrespectful to not try to finish the interview we have here.
Yes.
There are still a few questions to be had.
Oh my gosh, I really wish I go.
Jefferson
He
State.
took Jefferson, Gibbs. I have Taylor, Brown, Barkley, Wilson. Wow. Barkley.
There is a question coming from Mr.
Go ahead.
Donovan.
I already took Barkley. Go ahead.
I mean, I'll take some questions.
He
Yeah?
wants to take some
No,
questions.
I'll take
Oh,
some.
okay.
Do you have any closing remarks for our
As
interview
far as
today?
the remarks, I do expect to be exciting, and I really hope every matchup is close as it was last year. And I guess I'm saying is go Eagles. That's what I'm investing in.
Now that I mentioned closing remarks, I do have a final question.
Mhm.
Given your history of bad drafts and bad placements in our fantasy league, are you worried that you are at risk of losing your position in the Defense Wins Games Fantasy Football League?
If that's the case, then that's something, if it has to be, it has to be. It is what it is. This league, it's been a long time. Just whatever happens, happens. I got
As a follow-up to that final question, would you then wait until you were approached about quitting the league, or will you willingly resign?
depending on the position, we'll make that decision at the end of the season. So
All right. Well, we appreciate the answers you did give. Thank you very much.
thank you.